Dear students, yeah, Ammo, good evening. Suvarda, good evening. G. Channa Keshava, good evening. Pooja, Garuda, hello. Viraj, Sushma, okay, fine. So, good evening, my dear students. In the last session, we discussed about the concept of reproduction. Okay. The introduction part means what is reproduction, why it is necessary. So that all we discussed in the last session, right? So today we are going to, then we discuss the types of, first we learned definition, then we learned types of reproduction, then we learned detailed note on asexual reproduction, right? Asexual reproduction. Fine. So, definition, types, and asexual reproduction. Can anyone tell me what do you mean by the reproduction? What is the exact definition of the reproduction? Yes? Yes, dear students. What is the exact definition of reproduction? Good evening, Asha. Prajwal, good evening. I think today you don't have Kannada medium session. Okay, Kannada medium students. Fine. Very good. Dhruva, reproduction is the process of giving birth to offsprings or giving birth to young ones, what we can say. Giving birth to young ones. Very good, Dhruva. Then who answered it? Monish, I answered it. Uma Shankar answered it. Then Ramesh Jamnihar answered it. Yes, very good. Srinivas is the process by which living organisms produce new individuals of the same species. Exactly. Definition. So, of the same species ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಿಮ್ಮ definition ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. This is a keyword. Okay. Then after that, what we learned? We learned types of reproduction. We learned types of reproduction. Can anyone tell me which are the types of reproduction? Yes. Srinivas, Dhruva, Uma, Nandaraj, Pratima. Can anyone tell me which are the types of reproduction? Yeah. Types of reproduction. I did not ask you the definition of the reproduction. Now, very good. Ramesh Chammihar answered it. It is sexual reproduction. The first one is we got sexual reproduction. The second one is we got asexual reproduction. Right? So we learnt about asexual and sexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction means what? Single parent will give birth to offsprings. Single parent will give birth to offsprings. Okay. Then after that, here also we have subtypes. Okay. So here also we have many types of asexual reproduction. Can you list out the types of asexual reproduction? Yes, my dear boys and girls. Can you list out? Okay, yaar answer madidru. Dhruva. Fission, fragmentation, very good. Regeneration, budding, vegetative propagation, spore formation, very good, Dhruva. So, yeah. So as he said, he, included all the sexual reproduction method. So he said first fragmentation, Okay, then spore formation we have. Vegetative propagation we have. Then fission we have, that is a multiple fission. Binary fission we have. Regeneration we have. Okay, budding we have. Right. So these all are what? The types of asexual reproduction. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so we learnt about asexual reproduction yesterday. Today, we are going to discuss mainly about the sexual reproduction. So what do you mean by sexual reproduction? So usually, asexual reproduction means what? Single parent is involved in the production of offsprings. But in case of sexual reproduction, here we will be having two parents. Okay? Two parents are involved. One is female. Parents are sexually different. One is male, another one is female. So these male and female parent will produce gametes. Okay. So these will produce gametes. Male will produce sperm. Female will produce ova. Okay. So these fusion of gametes leads to the formation of zygote. These zygote will develop into an embryo. Right. Then embryo will develop into an individual or an organism. Fine. So this is about the sexual reproduction. Briefly, I explained you how sexual reproduction occurs. So usually the main thing or what we can say the advantage of sexual reproduction, mahatva anta heltivi alva. So the advantage of sexual reproduction is variation. In Kannada, we can call it as bhinnategalu. Yesterday, I explained you what is variations, alva. So what is variations? Whatever difference you can see between you and your parents in the characteristics. ಗುಣಲಕ್ಷಣಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಇದ್ರೆ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಗುಣಲಕ್ಷಣಗಳು ಏನಂತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that is called as variations we will call. So these variations happens in sexual mode of reproduction only. Why? Because there will be a fusion of gametes andre fusion of two different kind of DNAs. The crossing over ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. Exchange of genetic material ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ? So which will cause the variations. Okay, so this is about sexual reproduction. Usually ಏನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು, they will ask you the definition of sexual reproduction and they will ask you the advantage of sexual reproduction. Advantage means what is positive, what is the mahatva ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ? So that is what. So this is about sexual reproduction. Now let us study in detail. So what usually happens? As I said, in the sexual reproduction, yes guys, in the sexual reproduction, two gametes are involved or two parents are involved. All right. So these two parents will be male parent as well as a female parent. Understood? So male parent will produce a male gamete which is called as sperm and female parent will produce a female gamete which is called as ova. So whatever I'm calling this is a sperm, this is a ova. Okay. So whatever I'm calling these, no, these are called as a gametes what I said. Howda? So gametes means what here? The sex cells. In the common words, we will call it as sex cells. The cells which are involved in the reproduction. Those are called as gametes. Okay. So let us learn what will happen during the gamete formation. During meiosis. So in 9th standard, you learned about cell division. Okay. So how many types of cell division we have? Can you tell me? Cell division andre ಜೀವಕೋಶಗಳ ವಿಭಜನೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವು 9th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ರಿ. So we have two types of cell division. Can anyone tell me which are those types? Yes, be fast. Yeah. Yeah, who said that? Yes, Dhruva. Two types of cell division. They are mitosis and meiosis. Very good. Yeah. So, as I said, Dhruva answered it, and anyone other than Dhruva? Spurti also answered it. Hemant Aishu answered it. Then Dhruva again. Vanilla answered it. Chandra Mali answered it. Shrikant Gowda. Vijay Lakshmi. Good. So here, mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis and meiosis. So in mitosis, what happened? If a cell is there, okay, in the cell, we have 46 chromosomes. One cell is there. We have 46 chromosomes. So this cell will divide. This cell will undergo first DNA copying agate. DNA becomes double. DNA copy agate. And it will give rise to what? Two cells, which will be having again 46 chromosomes. Again, these will undergo division. Again, 46 chromosomes. So here you can see the chromosomes are distributed equally. ಈ chromosomes ಗಳೇನಾಗಿವೆ ಈ newborn cells ಇವೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ daughter cells what we call. So ಈ daughter cells ಗಳಿಗೆ equal ಆಗಿ distribute ಆಗಿವೆ 46 ಇಲ್ಲೂ 46 ಇಲ್ಲೂ 46. So this is called as equational division ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಮೈಟೋಸಿಸ್ಗೆ ನಾವು. ಓಕೆನಾ? So when we come to the meiosis usually happen in mitosis ಎಲ್ಲ cells ಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. Meiosis usually happen in gametes. Gametes ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. That is during gamete formation. Gamete formation. During the gamete formation, you can see the meiosis. So what actually happens here? So if the cell has a 46 chromosome, if it underwent meiosis, meiotic division adaga, we will get two cells where each cell will be having 23 chromosomes. Here you can see exact half. So the daughter cells will be getting exact half of their parent. Right. So this is why this is called as meiosis, or we can also call it as reductional cell division. Reduction andre enu kadme anta. So here 46 chromosome ididu 23 aitu. So it is called reductional cell division. So I just brushed up the 9th standard concept again. Right. So here you can see, just a minute. Yeah. So during meiosis, gametes are formed in which number of chromosomes and amount of DNA are half as compared to the non-reproductive cells. Gamete to matte non-reproductive normal cells ana compare ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, in a normal cell we will be having exact number of chromosome, exact amount of the DNA. But in the gamete cell, we will be having half the number of chromosome, half the amount of DNA which is present in the normal cell. So gametes from two individuals combine to form a zygote. As I told, male will produce a male gamete which is called as sperm. Female will produce a female gamete which is called as egg. When there is a fusion between sperm and the egg, what we call, there is a formation of zygote. Here you can see the zygote. So this zygote will again undergo the division. Many divisions will occur. Then it forms what? The embryo. So here you can see that zygote develops into embryo. Embryo develops into a new organism or new individual. Okay. Then it is in very simple organism, two germ cells. I mean, whatever we say, these gametes in a very simple organism, in a lower organisms, the gametes will be similar. shape and size of the gametes will be similar. But in case of higher organisms, complex organisms like human beings, the gametes or the shape and size of a sex cell or the gametes differ. Here you can see the shape of the male. It has a tail. It is very small compared to the egg. But when you see the egg cell, it is very big. All right. So this is about the female gamete and this is about the male gamete. Right. So this fusion of male and female gamete give rise to. So sperms will be having 23 chromosome. I'm taking the human beings as an example. And egg will be having 23 chromosome. When these combine, the number of chromosomes in the zygote is found to be 46. So parentally ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು ಅಮ್ಮನಲ್ಲೂ 46 ಇತ್ತು ಅಪ್ಪನಲ್ಲೂ 46 ಇತ್ತು. It did not become 72. It has been reduced to 23 due to what? Due to this meiosis. When? During the formation of gamete. During the formation of gamete, meiosis ಆಗತ್ತೆ. That is why again 46 chromosome ಇರುವ individual or organism will be born, which is normal. So, here you can see the sentence. In a complex organism, one germ cell is large. See, egg cell is larger and it contains the food. Why? Because to nourish the zygote, to develop or to give nutrients to the developing zygote. No. So one germ cell or one gamete will be big and it will be storing the food. So usually in the animals or the human beings, female gamete will be big. That is why in the females, female only will become pregnant because its gamete is stationary. It will be at one place and it will be having the reserve food material which can nourish, which can give nutrients to the upcoming baby or upcoming offspring. Okay. So this is about what actually happens in the sexual reproduction. Now we have sexual reproduction in plants. In detail about sexual reproduction in plants. Okay, fine. So first, before directly going to sexual reproduction in plants, let us learn about reproductive part of a plant. A reproductive part of a plant. Okay. So yesterday only most of you said me a flower is a reproductive part. So when we see the parts of a flower or that reproductive part, so here it will be having two parts, my dear students. Two parts irutte. One essential parts anta kariteve. One term is called as essential part or essential whorl, WHORL. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು accessory parts. Accessory parts or we can say accessory wholes. Wholes means the parts. So essential means what? The very important parts which are required for reproduction. So here we have stamens, essentially, which are the male reproductive part. And then we have here the ovary, which is a female reproductive part. Okay. Then accessory means what? Your green color leaf-like structure, especially when you see the hibiscus plant, you can see like this. Ella plants flowers allu iratte, kelon flowers allu iralla. So here you can see a leaf-like, small leaf-like structure, which are called as sepals. Each unit is called as sepal. Group of it is called as calyx. Groupiಗೆ calyx ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಒಂದೊಂದೇ green color leaf-like structure ಗೆ we will call it as sepal. Then you have the petals, colored one. So the group of petal is called as corolla, what we call. Okay. So these two indirectly help in the reproduction. They are not directly involved in the reproduction. Direct agi involve ಆಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. That is why these are accessory wholes, what we can call. Next we have what? Next we have the essential part. First we have here stamen. So stamen means what? It is a male reproductive part. So when you take the hibiscus, andre daswala gidana ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಸಿಗತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. This is a stigma. Okay, this is a style. This is a ovary. And here you will be having a very thin thread-like structure. And on that, you can see the pollen grains. So these are there, no, these stalk-like structure, these like this. So these are called as what? Stamens, which are the male reproductive part. So these are made up of, when you see one stamen like this is one stamen. So when you see one stamen, it is made up of like this. So one is a filament, what we can call the stalk, and the other one is an anther. This anther only produces the pollen grains. Then those pollen grains are nothing but our male germ cell, which will become male gametes later. Pollen grains alle ಮತ್ತೆ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ pollen grains ಅಲ್ಲಿರುವ cells ಗಳು ಏನಾಗ್ತವೆ? Male gametes ಆಗ್ತವೆ. Next we have pistil. Pistil means what? So here ಇದನ್ನ ರಬ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ದಾಸವಾಳ ಹೂವನ್ನ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, when I rub these stamens, when I rub these stamens, I have just a minute. So when you see the stamens, here you have stigma, here you have style, and here you have ovary. So this whole thing, stigma, style, ovary. So the whole part is called as pistil, which is a female reproductive part. Okay. So it has three parts. Okay. The first sticky surface, it is called as stigma. Okay. The long thread-like structure, it is called as style. Okay. This one is called as ovary. Female reproductive structure we got to know. Male reproductive structure we got to know in the plants. Now, actually what happens? Let us see now. So, based on the presence of reproductive parts, based on the presence of reproductive parts, okay, reproductive parts. So we have two types of flowers. Okay, the first one is unisexual, the second one is bisexual. As the name suggests, uni means what? A single. A flower which contains any one reproductive part. It might be a male reproductive part. It might be a female reproductive part. Anyone, not both. So such flowers are called as unisexual flowers. You can see them in papaya, watermelon, as well as in coconut. Then next one is bisexual flowers. So here bi means what? Two. Fine. So which contain both stamen and pistil. The flowers which contain the stamen, that is a male reproductive part, and a pistil, that is a female reproductive part. So such flowers are called bisexual flowers. For example, hibiscus, mustard, andre sasve, and again we have the rose, we have jasmine, we have. So these all are the examples of bisexual flowers. Okay. Next, we got to know sexual reproduction in plants. That is, first we got to know which are the reproductive structure, which are the types of the flowers. The first step in reproduction in plant is pollination. Okay. As the name suggests, pollination means what? Transfer of pollen grains from stamen to stigma. See, here they have given a hibiscus flower. Okay. Observe the laser point, my dear students. So here we have the pollen grains on this. So when the pollen grains of this flower, let us consider this flower. Okay. So let us consider this flower as A, this flower as B. So when the pollen grains of the flower A, okay, it sticks on the, or it transfers to the stigma of the same flower. That is stigma of the flower A only. So that is called as self-pollination. So within the flower only, that pollen grains only shifted to the stigma of the same flower. But when the pollen grains of this flower, that is flower A, transfers to the pollen grains of B. See, both are hibiscus. ಎರಡು ಕೂಡ ದಾಸವಾಳದ ಹೂವೆ. ಓಕೆನಾ, ಇದು ದಾಸವಾಳ, ಇದು ರೋಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಎರಡು ಕೂಡ ದಾಸವಾಳದ ಹೂವೆ. But when there is a transfer of pollen grains to the stigma of the other flower of the same species, then it is called as what? Cross pollination. Pollen grains are transferred to the stigma of other flower by some agents like wind. It might be transferred. It might be transferred by water. It might be transferred by animals or insects. So first you have to remember what is pollination. That is nothing but transfer of pollen grains to the stigma, transfer of male reproductive part to the female reproductive part. So in pollination, we have two types, self and cross. Self means within the same flower, the pollen grains of the same flower will go to the stigma of the same flower. Then cross-pollination means the pollen grains of one flower goes to the flower stigma of the other flower. Understood? Stigma of the other flower. So it is called as what? Cross-pollination of the same kind, same species. So this is about pollination. So once the pollination happen, you can see the diagram, very important diagram it is. Observe the laser point. See, 1 second. So our pollen grains will be like this. It will be having the nucleus at the center. Like this, one wall will be there, the inner wall and the outer wall. This is the outer wall, which is called as exine. This is the inner wall, which is called as intine. Just for your reference, I said it. Okay. If you can't remember, don't remember. So when the pollen tube will sit on the stigma, pollen grain will sit on a stigma. See, when the seeds will sown in the soil, what they will do, they will germinate. They will germinate into the root startup as well as the stem startup. Like that only, when the pollen grains germinate on the stigma will be having the sugary substances which are needed for the germination of, which are needed for the formation of pollen tube, right? So the pollen grain will germinate and forms a tube-like structure which is called as pollen tube. So this pollen tube connects the pollen grain. It is the tube which connects the pollen grain to the ovary. That is to the female reproductive part of the flower. So what they will do, the pollen grains will form the tube and it will be having the nucleus. The nucleus will divide into two. Okay. So in two will be there. So two nuclei will be there here in the pollen tube. Okay. See, male germ cell from pollen grain reaches the female germ cell through this tube. So when the nucleus will divide it, one nucleus or a one cell, the pollen nucleus will be divided into two nucleus. So two cells are formed. Among that, one cell will go and fuses with the ova. One, what we can say, germ cell or a one gamete, what we can say, will go and fuses with the ova or a egg to form what? To form the zygote. Okay. Another cell will be there. That another cell means what? See, male germ cell fuse with the female gamete in the ovule to form a zygote. Okay. Then this zygote is there. No, whatever the zygote is formed, this will undergo certain division. This will undergo certain division to form the embryo. Then embryo into the fruit and seed. See here, ovule develops a tough coat and becomes a seed. So whatever you saw here, this is a style, this is a ovary, and this is our stigma. So ovule becomes strong. Ovule develops into this. The ovules will be there here. This is ovary. Ovules will be there. So ovule sutta, a tough coat will be developed, which becomes a seed. So ovule will become seed. After what? After fertilization. So what do you mean by fertilization? Fusion of male gamete with the female gamete. Here, fusion of pollen nucleus with the nucleus of ova. And see, ovule will be inside, it develops into seed. Ovary, this part is there, no, the swollen part. So the ovary will develop into the fruit. So the other parts like petals, sepals, stamens, style and stigma, they will dry or they will fall off. Okay. Then seed. So this ovule will become seed, alva. So when you see the seed, it contains the embryo. Seed alenirutte, embryo irutte, which develops into suitable seedling. Adu seedling agi andre what we can say germinate ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ಮೊಳಕೆ ಒಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಅಂಡರ್ ಸೂಟೇಬಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಜರ್ಮಿನೇಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮೊಳಕೆ ಒಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ. ಏನಾಗಿ the upper part will be as a plumule, this part will be as the radical, that is a future root. See the upper part like this, it will be a stem, it will become future stem. The lower part, it will become the future root. So zygote to embryo, embryo to seed. Like this, what happens? The sexual reproduction occurs in the plants. Okay. Now, so this is about sexual reproduction. Now tell me the accessory parts of flower in reproduction. Accessory parts of flower in reproduction. Can anyone tell me? Yes? Yeah? Yes, guys, please do reply. Which are the accessory parts of the flower? Stem. Manoj HR, petal and sepal. Very good. Vanilla, sepals and petals. Very good. Radha Gowda, petals and sepals. Good. Okay. Fine. So, okay. So here, understood, no? Accessory parts means what? Sepals and petals. And important parts, essential parts means what? Can you tell me the male reproductive part of a flower? Be fast, my dear students. Male reproductive part of a flower. Male reproductive part of a flower. Who is going to tell? Yeah. Stamen is a male part. Impaga Gowda answered it. And ovary, what we can say, pistil annodu, female reproductive part agatte. Okay, na? So this is about the sexual reproduction in plants. Next, in baratte andre, reproduction in human beings. Yav reeti reproduction agatte human beings alli. So before that, let me make you understand regarding first why this concept has been kept in SSLC. 10th standard ali yaake ee concept itru andre. So at your age, there will be a, for 8th standard also I will be saying the same thing. So at your age, there will be a change in the hormonal levels. Okay. So you will be having the curiosity. At this age, you will be having the curiosity, how actually reproduction takes place and all. Many questions will be there in your mind. Okay. So to understand it in a positive way, all right, to understand the scientific, what we can say, concept of the reproduction, how it occurs in the human beings, this lesson or this concept had been kept. So don't extend it to too much that you should know everything. So scientific, how much is there? That much is there in this concept. Okay, don't overthink, don't feel shy to learn. Okay, don't feel shy to question, I mean, ask the question related to the concept, not beyond that level. Okay, so take it scientifically, learn it scientifically. It is not that, oh my God, reproduction, how can I learn? How can I ask? And thinking too much about it. Okay, it is just a part of a life. It is just a process which happens in every human being and in every organism on earth. Take it as a process. Fine, guys. So let us proceed. How reproduction occurs in human beings, how I came on earth, how you came on earth, how your mother came on earth. So let us discuss it. Yeah. So in early teenage, the appearance and proportions of body change and new features and sensations appear. As I said you earlier, at your age, okay, or nowadays due to some, what we can say, the fast food or the packaged food, or due to extensive use of this mobile radiations and all. So that puberty ಅಥವಾ ಟೀನೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಅದು ತುಂಬಾ ಬೇಗನೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. For example, at the age of 12 or 13 only, the girls or the females are getting their menstruation. First period they are getting. So at the age of 14 or 15 or 13 or 14 only, the boys are getting the mustache and the beard. So usually 16th agbeku. And girls are 14, 15, like this, 13, 14. Iga we can see 10, 11, 12. They are facing the first period. Why? Because due to certain changes which occurs in the lifestyle. Okay. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ, ನಮ್ಮ certain age ಅಥವಾ teenage ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, there will be a development of secondary sexual character. So you can see some common characteristics like in the boys and girls, thick hair in the armpits, under shoulder. So there will be a development of hair. And in your genital area, what we can say, in your respective reproductive parts. So there will be a development of thick hair. Okay. Then thinner hair on legs, arms and face. So thin hair will develop on your arms, okay, on your face and the legs, right? Skin frequently becomes oily. So your skin will become oily and you will get pimples, acne ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಈ ಏಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. It is nothing but due to the hormonal changes, there will be a development of secondary sexual character. It occurs in every boy and every girl, which is very common. Okay. Then, so why these all will occur means, if these occurs, then we can say that individual can reproduce. He has the ability to reproduce. Okay. Let us proceed. Okay. So as I said, changes you can observe in the girls. There will be a approach or a starting of the first menstruation or a first period. Okay, there will be enlargement of a chest part. Hip region will be enlarged in the girls, right? So these all are the things. But in the boys, what happens? Musculature, muscles tumba strong agatte. There might be change in the voice. There might be the appearance of Adam's apple. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಒಂಥರ ಗಂಟು ತರ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Sudden agi they will increase in their height, especially boys. So these all are secondary sexual characters in the males. Like this, changes will occur. Next, male reproductive system. So before going to the reproduction process, okay, now we have to learn about male reproductive system. Okay. So what actually will be there in male reproductive system? ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು 8th standard ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕಲಿತೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. So it consists of what we can call the testis ducts to deliver germ cell. Okay, yesterday I think K. Manish was asking a continuous around 50 or 60 times he asked the doubt regarding the testis. Okay, so now we are discussing about the testis. You can concentrate here. So it consists of two testes. So when we take a male reproductive system, this is a cross view. So which is showing only one testis. So the males will be having pair of testes. Two testes will be there. These are the testes, what you can say. Yeah, see the diagram properly. Testis. And from the testis, you can say a pipe-like structure or a nerve-like structure like this, which is called vas deferens, which is called vas deferens. What is the function of vas deferens means? Testis will produce a sperm, male germ cell. That sperm will be carried out by this vas deferens. Okay. Then you can see around the testis, you have a pouch-like a structure, a bag-like a structure, which is called as scrotum. A bag-like structure called scrotum. So what actually this scrotum will do andre? To produce sperms, ಈ testisಗೆ to produce sperms, low temperature is necessary. ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ನೀಡ್ಸ್ ಅ ಲೋವರ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ this scrotum will provide lower temperature to the testis to produce sperms. So those sperms will be carried to the vasa deferens. Okay, let us proceed. Here you can see testes are located in scrotum, a bag-like structure. As I said, sperm formation requires a lower temperature than a body temperature. Then testis along with the sperms, testis ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? Sperms ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. Sperms ನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ it will produce a hormone called as testosterone. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಟೆಸ್ಟೋಸ್ಟಿರಾನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮೇಲ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನು ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಟೆಸ್ಟಿಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಈ ಟೆಸ್ಟೋಸ್ಟಿರಾನ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟ್ ಹೌ ಮಚ್ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟ್ ದ ಚೇಂಜಸ್. ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಸೆಡ್, ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್, ಟೀನೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುವಂತಹ ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಇದು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾರು? ಟೆಸ್ಟೋಸ್ಟಿರಾನ್. ಯಾರು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಟೆಸ್ಟಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಮೇಲ್ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ದೆನ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಮೇಲ್ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ಇದಾಯ್ತಾ? ಟೆಸ್ಟಿಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ಪರ್ಮು ಈ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯಾಸ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಟು ದ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಡಕ್ಟ್. ಡಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ಲೂಯಿಡ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಪ್ರೋಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಸಮೈನಲ್ ವೆಸಿಕಲ್ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಕೌಪರ್ಸ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಫ್ಲೂಯಿಡ್ಸ್, ಫ್ಲೂಯಿಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ ಇರತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಸೆಲ್. ಇಟ್ ನೀಡ್ಸ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕು? ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು, ಪೋಷಕಾಂಶಗಳು ಬೇಕು. ವೈ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್, ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಓವಾ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ ನೀಡ್ಸ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ, ಇಟ್ ನೀಡ್ಸ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ದೆನ್ ಆಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ದ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಲುಕ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. So like this it will look. Okay, so it will be having the tail for what? To swim, to move, because it has to go inside the female reproductive system. So it has to swim, alva, to swim. So when you are swimming, you cannot swim on the ground. You need water to swim, right? So like that only, for the sperm to swim, a fluid is required. A liquid-like substance is required. So which is given by the seminal vesicle as well as prostate glands. They will also nourish the sperms. Nourish andre ಪೋಷಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪೋಷಕಾಂಶಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತವೆ, ಸ್ವಿಮ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡ್ತವೆ. These are the ducts or glands, what we can say. See, ducts andre ಏನು? Carriers ಅಂತ, which will carry ಅಂತ. Okay, so include vasa deferens, ನಾನು ಅವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, a tube like structure which will deliver or carry the sperms, which unites with urethra coming from urinary bladder. So here you can see in the diagram, my dear students. So this vasa difference testis will produce sperms, alva. So the sperms will travel like this, and then it connects to what here il nodi. Adel connect ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ urethra connect ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Here you can see. It is connecting to urethra. Then, yeah. Thus, urethra forms a common passage, especially male ಅಲ್ಲಿ sperms ಮತ್ತೆ urine both have the same passage, same road, same path. Okay, but in female, the urine path or a urine what outlet is different. And what we can say, the egg, what is released or the blood flow during the menstruation. So that is different. So along the path of vasa difference, glands like yavaga sperm, vasa difference through pass ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರತ್ತೋ, the glands like prostate and subanal vesicle release some fluid. I'm sorry. These are mixed with sperms to form semen. Semen means what here? A fluid which contains the sperm. A fluid which contains the sperm. So usually when it happens, like ಇದನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ crime ಆಗಿರತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, especially during the rape cases, okay, which we are seeing nowadays. More ಕೇಸಸ್ಗಳಾಗ್ತಾ ಇವೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ತುಂಬಾ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೇಸಸ್ಗಳಾಗ್ತಾ ಇವೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಕಲ್ಪ್ರಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಡು ಹಿಡಿಬೇಕು, ಹೂ ರೇಪ್ಡ್ ದಟ್ ಗರ್ಲ್ ಆರ್ ದಟ್ ವುಮೆನ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ದ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್. ಹೇರ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಸೆಮನ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಸೆಮನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿರೈವ್ ದ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್. ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರುವ DNA ಅನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ DNA ಅನ್ನ ಯಾರಾದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಆರ್ ಇಫ್ ಎನಿ ವಿಕ್ಟಿಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್, ಅಪರಾಧಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚಸ್ ದೆನ್ ದ ವಿಕ್ಟಿಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಕನ್ಫರ್ಮ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಸೆಮನ್ ಇಸ್ ಯೂಸ್. ಸೆಮನ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ಅ ಫ್ಲೂಯಿಡ್ ವಿಚ್ ಕಂಟೈನ್ಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇದೇನ್ ಮಾಡತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಮೇಕ್ ದ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಈಸಿಯರ್. ಫೈನ್. ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರತ್ತೆ? ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಸಿ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್, sperm will be having what? A DNA, a genetic material, and a long tail. What is the use of a long tail? For the movement. For the movement. To what? Till the egg in the female reproductive system. Till the ova in the female reproductive system. Okay, fine. So understood about male reproductive system, my dear students? Just give me a thumbs up in the comment box. Understood about male reproductive system? Be fast. Okay. Okay, thank you. Tanushri, Uma Shankar, Sunit, Savita, but Dhruva. Okay. I told you, semen means what? It is a fluid which contains a sperm. Ravish. Okay, very good. So let us proceed with the female reproductive system. Female reproductive system. So when you see the female reproductive system, a female reproductive system has a ovaries. Male alli yav reeti pair of testes iratte. Like that, female will be having pair of ovaries like this. So these ovaries will release ova or a egg. So for every 28 to 30 days, each ovary will release ova or a egg. Okay. So and here you can see a tube-like structure. You can see a tube-like structure. These tube-like structures, these are called as what? Fallopian tube, or we can call oviduct. What these will do? These will transfer the egg which are released by the ovary to the uterus. This is our uterus. Uterus andre nama garbhakosha anta. where the baby develops. So idu garbhakosha, uterus. So it will take the egg to uterus. Okay. Then at a puberty ಅಂದ್ರೆ at the age of 12 to 16 ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳಲ್ಲಿ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ದ ಎಗ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ಡ್, ಎಗ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದಾಗ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಲೈನಿಂಗ್, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅವರ್ ಯುಟರಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಯುಟರಸ್ ಲೈನಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಲೈನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಯುಟರಸ್ ವಾಲ್. ಇದು ಯುಟರೈನ್ ವಾಲ್. ಇದರ ಲೈನಿಂಗ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ದ ಥಿಕ್ನೆಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್. ಬ್ಲಡ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್ಗಳು, ಬ್ಲಡ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ದ ಬ್ಲಡ್. ಸೊ ದೋಸ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್ will become thickened, will become more. So this wall will become more while the production, during the production of egg. Why? Because this will think what? When the egg will come here, it will get fertilized with the sperm so that these blood vessels, whatever developed, can supply nutrients to the egg. Anta. ಹೌದಾ. ಸೊ ಇದ್ರದ್ದೇನು ಯಾಕೆ ಥಿಕ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಈ ಲೇಯರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ಓವರಿಯಿಂದ ಓವಾ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಗ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಅದು ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಝೈಗೋಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಡ್. ಝೈಗೋಟ್ಗೆ ನರಿಶ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾ, ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾ, ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತವೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗ? ವೆನ್ ಫರ್ಟಿಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಆಕರ್ಸ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವೆನ್ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಎಗ್. But when sperm does not fuse with the egg, fertilization ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. Then what happens? Whatever thickened wall ಇರತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, how much the wall had been thickened, ಎಷ್ಟು ಥಿಕ್ ಆಗಿರತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಯುಟರೈನ್ ವಾಲ್ ಲೇಯರು, that will shred off. Shred off ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸವಿಯತ್ತೆ. Okay, so it will shred off. That is why ಯಾವಾಗ ಒಳಗಿನ ವಾಲ್ shred off ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, it is not, ಈಗ ಏನಂತಾರೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಕಾಮನ್ ವರ್ಡ್, ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ, ಸವಿಯತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ವಾಲ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಚ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಬ್ಲಡ್, ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಶೆಡ್ ಆಫ್, ಸವಿಯತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಮೆನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರುಯೇಷನ್ we will get the blood along with the mucus, a sticky substance, we will get the blood. Why? Because due to the reduction, due to the shredding of this uterine wall. That is why this will be painful for a girls. So whenever your mother, your sister, your friend is facing the periods, she will be having some pains. So that time you have to understand scientifically and should act in a matured way. Understood, my dear students? So that is why this will happen every month, that is 28 to 30 days every month. But once the fertilization happens, once the sperm will fuse with the egg, okay, then there is a development of zygote, embryo, then a female is considered as a pregnant. Understood? So this is about how reproduction occurs as well as the female reproductive system. Okay, now. Yeah. Iga, now, just where it is. Yeah. So here we saw the parts. Ovary, one ovary will release one egg in 1 month. If this is released, next month this will release. Like that, it will be releasing. So once the egg will come here, okay, let us consider, once the egg will come here through the fallopian tube, if it got fused with the sperm, okay, if it got fused with the sperm. So below the uterus, you can find a channel. You can find a channel like this, a passage like this. Okay, this is called as our vagina, the opening of the female reproductive system. Inside the vagina, one more opening will be there, which is called cervix. Cervix enu uterus du opening agiratte. Vagina female reproductive system starting opening agiratte. So through this a sperm enters into the female. Vagina ಮೂಲಕ it will go to cervix. Cervix ಇಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ egg ಇರತ್ತೆ, ಇದರ ಜೊತೆ sperm fuse ಆಗತ್ತೆ. The fusion of male gamete with the female gamete is called as what? Fertilization. Okay. So like this, the reproduction occurs. So here, see, sperms from vagina, it will go to uterus, andre garbhakosha, reach the oviduct, fallopian tube, sorry, fertilization fallopian tube alagate. I showed you here, the position must be here, illi. Okay, na illi fuse agate fallopian tube alli. Then meet the egg, that is fusion will occur. Zygote form agate, where cell division, continuous cell division agate. It looks like a ball of cell. Then zygote will again divide to form embryo. Embryo ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Embryo, where is that? Just a minute. Embryo will fix here. Embryo will get attaches here in the uterine wall. Uterine wall ಗೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಒಂದು fixation of embryo in the uterine wall, on the side of a uterine wall, is called as implantation. Okay, so whatever the blood vessels are there, they will provide nutrients to the embryo here, to the developing embryo. Okay, then growth continues. Organs will develop like heart, kidney, liver, eyes, like this develop, and it will become a fetus. When embryo will be developed into complete parts, eyes, ಎಲ್ಲ parts ಗಳು formation ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ embryoಗೆ ನಾವು fetus ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. See, the uterus prepares every month to receive and nurture embryo. So every month, every female ge, when she attains the puberty, uterine wall thick ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ uterus will be preparing to get the embryo, to nourish the embryo. If the fertilization does not occur, what will happen? The endometrium wall, or what we can say the uterine wall, will shed and menstruation occurs. Next we have is placenta. So embryo ಬಂದು ಆ uterine wall ಗೆ fix ಆದಾಗ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ, if this is our fallopian tube, so this is our uterine wall ಅಂದ್ರೆ, so embryo ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಗ್ರೋ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್ ತರುವಂತಹ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, it is not sufficient for the embryo. That is why a specialized structure, a specialized tissue will develop in the uterine wall, which is a disc like, here ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ನೋಡಿ, ಇದು which is a disc like, ಕರುಳಬಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ವಾಟ್, ಅ ಪ್ಲೆಸೆಂಟಾ ಅಂತ. ಪ್ಲೆಸೆಂಟಾ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಪೈಪ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚಸ್ ಟು ದ ಫೀಟಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಮದರ್ ಈಟ್ಸ್, the completely digested food from the blood of the mother, it will go to the what we can say fetus. So ಇದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಷನ್ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡತ್ತೆ ಮಗು, ಫೀಟಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಷನ್ ಮಾಡತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಈ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ, ಅಮ್ಮನ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಪ್ಲೆಸೆಂಟಾ, ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಾಲ್. ಸೊ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ಲೆಸೆಂಟಾ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನ್ ಟು ದ ಎಂಬ್ರಿಯೋ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಗ್ಲುಕೋಸ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ನೀಡೆಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ embryo or the fetus from the mother. It also removes the waste. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ when 9 months will be completed inside the mother body, the child is born. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಯುಟರೈನ್ ಮಸಲ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, you can see due to the development, the pregnant woman uterus will be enlarged. ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದು, that is our uterus part which will be enlarged. So ಅವಾಗ ಪ್ರೆಗ್ನೆಂಟ್ ಆದಾಗ, ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಡೆಲಿವರಿ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್, contraction relaxation ಆಗತ್ತೆ uterus. So due to that, the baby will come out. If it does not happen, they will operate and they will remove the baby, which is called our cesarean or C-section ಅಂತ. ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, it is nothing but the contraction and relaxation of the what we can say the uterus. Okay, menstruation ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ದೆ, fertilization ಆಗದೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ the endometrium wall will be shredded and menstruation occurs ಅಂತ. Next, we have the reproductive health, where a pregnant woman should be taken care. A woman's body should be well nourished, as well as the male also should take care. Healthy food ತಿನ್ಬೇಕು, diet ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕು, lifestyle ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರಬೇಕು. Okay, this all will affect our reproductive health, as well as you should not get addicted to smoking, alcohol, any drugs, which will affect your reproductive parts as well as your reproductive health. Okay, so yeah, So we want one more class to finish up with this because we have to discuss a sexually transmitted diseases also. Right, then we are going to discuss important questions on reproductive health. Last time yaru gottilla, Uma Shankar ansatte. I guess so. I am not sure. So last ಯಾವುದು control and coordination ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. So she asked me, I mean, she commented or she requested me to solve more questions. But as of now, during the vacation classes, we will be having very, very less time. So to complete all the portion within this time is actually hectic. So actually we cannot solve the questions also, but ನಿಮಗೆ ಟಚ್ ಬಿಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ I will be solving the questions. So no doubt again from July, the revision classes will be held. So Avaga we will make sure to solve more questions. But December in the Antanu, you will be having only question solving sessions. Okay, don't worry, Uma. Fine. Fine, guys. Let us end up the session here. Okay, let me meet you all in the next session. Until that, take care. Have a nice day. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you. Thank you so much. Same to you, as you also play a mother's role in a different way to your siblings or to your relatives, to your friends, as well as, and wish your mother also a very happy Mother's Day because she has given us, I mean, your mothers have been given us a lot of students, so I can teach you all. Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to your mothers also and moms also. Let me end up the session here. Have a nice day. Bye bye.